So good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee Sunday morning gathering. It's September 10th, 2023. I'm Rev Pam Brandman, the senior minister here at the center, and it's my joy and pleasure to welcome you here to the center this morning. We know that there are many paths to God, and they all end in oneness with God. And we're grateful that each of you has chosen to spend your morning here with us for your spiritual journey. Our center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. We set our intentions today by reading our receptivity statement that you'll see on the screen, if you would read along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. Our musician this morning is Callie Hansen. And we know she's a professional because she has performing beautifully this morning despite all of the electronic issues we've had this morning. And so I'm really grateful that she's here with us this morning. She's a pro. Thank you, Callie.
Good morning, everyone. It's always nice to be here. Electronic and good old regular piano issues, too. Well, hopefully it'll behave itself this morning as we get on our way. My first piece this morning is it's called Ready to Be Myself, and it's by a person named David Dunn. And like always, I heard it when I was hiking. And God said, this is what you guys need to hear today. So that's what it is. That's what we're going to do. Today is the day I'm waking up to say I'm tired of the way that I change. I rearrange myself to be someone that everybody loves. So I become what I am not. And who am I gonna be when nobody's watching me? I want to be real. What am I gonna do to live what I know is true? I let go and I've been someone else. God, I'm ready to be myself. And now is the time to open up my eyes and see what I will find. I find that I've made up my mind to be someone that everybody loved. So I become what I am not. Oh, who am I gonna be when nobody's watching me? I want to be real, and what am I gonna do to live what I know is true? I let go and I've been someone else. God, I'm ready to be myself. I wanna be something more than someone who needs to be adored. It shouldn't matter to me. And with every breath that I have left, I'm gonna breathe it out, hoping that He says, you've done well. Oh, who am I gonna be? Oh, what am I gonna do? Whoa, yeah. Oh, who am I gonna be? Yeah. And who am I gonna be when nobody's watching me? I want to be real, and what am I gonna do to live what I know is true? I let go and been someone. Whoa, 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 I've been someone. Whoa, whoa, I've been someone else. God, I'm ready to be myself. God, I'm ready to be myself.
Thank you, Callie. So this morning, our practitioner is Michael Brandman, and he's been making the most of these beautiful fall days, and I think he went on a 32-mile bike ride yesterday, and so he's enjoying the beginnings of the fall colors and the small crowds on the Truckee River. But this is Tahoe, that's what you do. So, but this morning, he's focusing on our spiritual journey. And he's here for our special reading this morning and our opening invocation.
Good morning, everyone. So today's talk by Reverend Pam, it begins the September CSL theme, Love Out Loud. And today's topic will be Love on a Spectrum. Yeah, so we all look forward to that. I certainly do. And so I have a reading today from the Bible, the New Testament, and also from Science of Mind. And the reading is from, brief reading is from John 13, 34, 35. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. And from Science of Mind on page 478, Ernest Holmes' interpretation of the quote I just made. Love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love, and that we are his express likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love is the self-givingness through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human. Love is an essence, an atmosphere, which defies analysis, as does life itself. It is that which is, and cannot be explained. It is common to all people, to all animal life, and evident in the response of plants to those that love them. Love reigns supreme over all. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depth or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact. God is love, and love is God. So let us take these words into contemplation for a few moments, and then we'll have a invocation. So, again, love is all there is. Love is life. That life in me, and as me and through me, and as it is in all of you, and through all of this congregation that is here today. Love guides us through the experiences and challenges of the human experience. And I know that the experience of this congregation, of this center, is all about love. And I know that the weeks coming up as we contemplate our future and our expansion and our growth in love and in the community. Some may see this as loss, but as Mary Baker Eddy says, loss is gain, and all is gain in life. And I release these words into the law, knowing that all is done right here, right now, in love. And I bless this community. I bless Reverend Pam and the topic today, and all those that support this service this morning, knowing that all is well. And we say together, and so it is. And I introduce Kali again. Thank you, Kali.
So, actually, my next two songs are by this same artist. His artist name is Tim Be Told. I listen to him a lot. I feel like he writes directly from his heart. And this fits your topic today very nicely. It's called Come Lay Your Burdens Down on Me. Under the steeple we were all God's people if we loved one another, sisters and brothers. But then the preacher told me God loves the straight man only. Straight is the same as holy, so saith the Lord. Father, could you ever love a person like me? Or did you seal the gates above and throw out the keys? You say we are your children if you trust and believe. So God, please don't forget about the children like me. While the world was sleeping, I'd stay up weeping, wondering who was the liar, my God or my desire. If straight means holy, then I guess I don't mind lonely. But what if we have this life only? What if I was wrong? Father, could you ever love a person like me? Or did you seal the gates above and throw out the keys? You say we are your children if we trust and believe. So God, please don't forget about the children like me. They say I'm ruined, but I'm only human. They say it could be Satan, but God, I'm your creation. What is and isn't sin, I'll let it go and let this time I was praying, all this time you were saying, come lay your burdens down on me. Come lay your burdens down on me. Come lay your burdens down on me. When hope is gone, just keep holding on. Come lay your burdens down on me.
Thank you, Callie. You know that's one reason that I'm really glad to be here at a Center for Spiritual Living, because we think that all people are creations of God and they are perfect just like they are. And that's why we're going to talk about love on a spectrum this morning, right? Because all people are holy, right? And so, you know, one of the most revolutionary people of all times was Jesus of Nazareth, right? He commanded his followers, as in the reading that Michael had from the Bible this morning from John, love one another. And as I have loved you, so you must love one another. He didn't qualify that, certain types of people. He said, love one another, all people. Jesus loved everyone unconditionally. He didn't care whether people were Jews or Romans or Samaritans. He didn't care whether someone was a fisherman or a tax collector, a centurion, or a poor widow. He loved them all. He healed them all. In the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes has a passionate interpretation of the reading from John. Love is a central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love, that we are its expressed likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love is self-givingness through creation. That's through all of us. The impartation of the divine through the human, right? And so God expresses its love through each one of us, and we're all part of that puzzle. Each one of us is an important part, and without any one of us, the puzzle is incomplete. God is love, and love is God. You know, it means that because God is love and we are created by the eternal being from itself, that means that our nature is also love, right? And this includes every one of us. And when we love, we are expressing that unconditional love of our Creator, of our source. And when we love completely, we feel fully alive, right? Fully alive. We don't have to cram it into a certain way of being. It is being who we are and being proud of it and sharing it with the world, loving and living out loud, right? So nature has an amazing array of life forms. You know, when you look in the four-legged and two-legged creatures that walk the earth, birds and insects that fly through the air, fish and microorganisms that swim in the sea, there's tree and plants that grow tall towards the sun, and the worms and the fungi that flourish underneath the ground. You know? And within each type of form, like human beings, there is also diversity. In fact, no two people are alike. And even in the natural world, there are animals that are homosexual, and pansexual, and monogamous, and polyamorous. There you go. Thank you. But but it's, you know, it's all there, right? So Petra Wildis, a minister in Dallas CSL, she says, all of life is the expression of the one life. All creation is the body of the infinite, expressing experiencing itself in infinitely diverse ways. This is necessary, or the universal spirit would not be fully infinite. Creation is where love becomes actualized, and love becomes more of itself. It needs you, me, and the whole universe to become all of the infinite ways it can be. Now, Fred Rogers, you probably remember him from Mr. Rogers on TV when your kids were young, or you were young. And so he said, knowing that we can be loved exactly as we are gives us all the best opportunity for growing into the healthiest of people. Pretty basic, right? This means loving people just as they are, whatever their race or ethnicity, whatever their nationality or political affiliation, whatever their age, young, old, or in between, whatever their gender identity or sexual orientation. Each one of us has been created to be who we are and who we were meant to be as part of that one life that is God. The infinite life of the divine can only be expressed in all of its glory and fullness when each person evolves to express their part of that whole universe. Now, love exists on a spectrum of ways to love and be loved. Every person experiences love and expresses it in their own way. So let's look at some of those different ways. Now, there's some newer language that a lot of us have had to learn to understand the full range of possibilities that Gen X and the younger people they of course know it, but for us, we stumble and say, exactly what is that? So let me help you out a little bit this morning. So some people prefer heterosexual relationships between a man and a woman, but others prefer homosexual relationships between two people of the same sex, right? Whether it's two women or two men. Pansexual people don't consider gender when they choose who to love. They just love, right? Some bisexual might be in this category too. Some people prefer monogamous relationships, while others prefer polyamorous, wherein they love multiple people at the same time, or they choose to remain celibate, right? All of these are increasingly part of what's accepted in society these days. Now, according to Human Rights Watch, a nonprofit organization, in 2023, 67 of the 195 countries in the world have laws criminalizing same-sex relations between consenting adults. While some nations have decriminalized same-sex relationships and marriage in recent years, because it used to be more than 67, a few nations have increased penalties for these relationships in recent years. It was only in 2015 that the U.S. Supreme Court recognized the right for same-sex couples to marry in the U.S. everywhere, right? And what a revolution that's made for so many people and brought so much happiness. How do each of us feel about our gender identity? For some people, when I took practitioner class, there was a class in practitioner training, and it went through all of these issues about sexuality and love. And for some people, it was very challenging just to explore the world of people that are on the spectrum of LGBTQ, which means lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual, queer, questioning, and more, right? Non-binary. A Pew 2022 research study found that 1.6% of U.S. adults 18 and older identified as a gender other than their gender identified at birth. 1.6% of the whole U.S. population, 2022. Now, among the 18 to 29-year-olds, Gen Z, 3% identified as non-binary and 2% as transgender. That's 5% of Gen X, right? In the 50-plus group, only 0.3% identified themselves as non-binary or transgender. So, a big change. Now, is that a change in who we are? In those last 10 years, people have increasingly to identify themselves as he or she or they, all right? So some people find it annoying, one more woke fad that they have to get to dislike. But for the people that choose to identify themselves as transsexual or binary, having you refer to them as they is self-affirming, right? Or maybe if they're transsexual, they want to be the sex that they've adopted, right? The way that they've always felt for their entire life. Some groups have blamed this trend on woke groups brainwashing their children. But there's other scientists that have proposed that the rates of non-binary and transgender identification have not actually increased. Instead, our culture now has words to describe what these people have always felt. And they now have a language to say, oh, that's what it is. Right? They have a vocabulary to explain who they are. So, going back into the practitioner training class, every year I've been in that class or taught it several times, and every year that I was there, everyone had deeply held and impactful belief and experiences regarding sexuality and love. If you've went through practitioner training, that's always a very juicy class for people to sit through. And so how, there are questions like, how are love and sexuality related or not related, right? Does sexual abuse affect the victim? How does it affect the abuser? How do we heal and feel comfortable with ourselves after something like that? Or if whatever our choices are about our gender identity or our sexual choices are different than mainstream society, and they treat us as outliers. Only when we are healed can we as practitioners help other people to heal, right? So loving ourselves as we are and loving others as they are is the secret to allowing that fullness of spirit to be expressed. And when we love someone exactly as they are, not forcing them to fit into the standard mold, it often requires us to embrace ways of being that are different than our own cultural norms, right? What's important about our relationships, whatever they are, is that they're loving, they're authentic, and respectful of ourselves and of each person that we love, right? We don't have to be in an intimate sexual relationship with someone that's different than us, but respecting them for who they are in their own relationship is very much part of what can be freeing and norm for all of us. Love on a spectrum is not always comfortable, but it helps us to grow in our personal understanding of love and compassion for each other, right? And just as exercise is necessary to develop our physical muscles, experiences of love help us to grow our support and our ability to love and to be compassionate and understanding. As we love, we encounter both moments of joy and moments of pain, both light and darkness, comfort and discomfort. And much of the pain and suffering is released when we remember that we are connected to all people as a part of ourselves, as a part of that one infinite life. So any criticism we make is really self-criticism, a part of ourselves. Any love that we share is also self-love, right? We don't have to love others the same way to love and accept one another just as we are. Thomas Merton said, "The beginning of love is to let those we love be perfectly themselves and not to twist them to fit our own image. Otherwise, we love only the reflection of ourselves we find in them." In a long-term love relationship or beginning of one, there's a lot of people that come in and say, "Oh, I'm going to love this person and I'm going to fix them up so they'll be better," right? And so they spend the relationship trying to fix this person and make them someone they're not. And so, one of the things I learned early on is that you have to love someone just as they are. Now, they might evolve on their own, but you have to love them as they are because that's who they are right now. And it's okay, right? So we have to accept it. And then that allows us to accept ourselves, because I think I have a few quirks that I'm really glad that Michael puts up with, right? So love allows each one of us to be ourselves. In fact, love requires us to be ourselves if we are to be authentic, if we are to be the part of that one infinite life that we are. When you're in the get together with someone that when courting, everyone tries to be perfect. And, they want to be this perfect person that this person that they love will love perfectly. Well, if we put this false front on, they're falling in love with that false front and not who we really are. So it's really good if from the beginning we, one, figure out who we are, and two, we act from that way. And that we act in ways that are loving and accepting to all of the people in our life, and most especially that special someone that we want to be with, and love them as they are. Elizabeth Lesser, in her book Marrow, she says, deep in the center of the self are the soul cells of who you really are. Dig for them, believe in them, and offer them to another person, and you can heal each other's hearts and keep love alive forever. Now, the Centers for Spiritual Living are endeavoring to practice what they preach. So they're being centered firmly in spirit and also inclusive and affirming of the ways we show up in the world as humans, engaging with people such as they are. Now, CSL has a Next Gen Retreat. It's an annual event for people that are 18 to 35 or 40-ish to explore science of mind in their own unique way. And this year they're meeting October 20th through the 23rd, Friday night through a Monday, and at Camp Cedar Ridge in Verona, Oregon. That's the same place that Teen Camp is held, and lots of other camps now that we own it. So this year's theme for Next Gen Retreat is Embrace Your Fire, Say Hello to the New You. Now the subtitle, a little more controversial, is Uncensored AF. All right. Now, a lot of people would be offended by that, and you can look it up if you want to know what it means. But but the point that they're saying that is they want everyone to be their own authentic self, to live out loud, and they want to disrupt religion from the way that it's always been. It's not serving them. It's dying out the way that it's been. And so they feel spiritually inspired and awakened, and they want to experience that together authentically. When you connect with spirit, it just comes out. And that's what this retreat is all about. They want to love and live out loud, be fully alive. And so the attendees, they come from centers around the globe, knowing a lot of the same New Thought songs and language and values. But one thing that makes it a Next Gen Retreat, besides the language, is the list of agreements that attendees develop together through loving discussion. The agreements ensure that everyone gets their needs met by the community. For instance, the participants' name tags, they include their pronouns, she, he, or they, right? So you can get it right. And your hug preferences, whether you like to be hugged or don't like to be hugged, or you're worried about COVID, or you want to wear your mask, or whatever it is, you let people know, and everybody respects that, right? It's welcoming and affirming for all people. So they have 4 days planned for self-love, authenticity, diversity, forgiveness, and empowerment workshops, right? Sounds like a CSL convention to me. So they support each attendee to return then to their home communities, fully realized and prepared to step further into leadership. And in fact, many of the younger CSL ministers that might have grown up through teen camp, but then they go to the Next Gen retreats, and they really decide that this is what I want to be, what I want to share with the world. And so that's where a lot of them have come from. So pulling all of this together, each one of us is perfect just as we are. We are created with love, with a divine imprints along a spectrum of gender identity, sexual orientations, racial and ethnic heritages, lives that we live in so many different ways. And each one of us seeks to live and love out loud by being ourselves. Sometimes it's a beautiful, and sometimes it's not so much a pretty sight. But we are all here to be loved and loving in our own way. When we love and accept each other just as we are, we empower each other to be our best self and to live fully. This may require a stretch, a big stretch maybe, to learn and understand people who live by cultural norms different than our own. But with that discomfort comes growth. And all of life is relationship. All of our experiences serve to connect us with that spirit within us and with all people, right? It's always when I encounter someone that really is challenging to me, if I look deep into their eyes and I connect with that heart of heart within them, there is God. It is always there. It is whole, perfect, and complete, just as it is. And the form is always evolving to express that and more beautifully, more perfectly every day. But Shana Dilwayo said, the world says fall in love, but the universe says rise in love. Let's take this to prayer. And so we know that there is one power, one loving presence. There is nothing else, nothing outside of it, nothing beyond it. And knowing this, I am a part of that one power, that one presence. I am an expression of love in the world, as is each person here in the center and following my voice. Love is my true nature, and every moment I choose love. I am a spiritual love fountain that is sourced by infinite divine love. Whenever I feel like I don't have enough to give, it's about plugging back into that source, and instantaneously I am filled with this infinite love that is divine, this infinite understanding, and I can stand up and share this overflowing love with the world. I am sustained by love. I am healed by love. I see the paths of connection that love weaves through my life and all of creation. And I am guided by love to express this love, even the most challenging moments of my life. It is not to be a victim, but it is to stand up for love as the truth of life. And to see how we are called in each moment to follow that path to that greater expression of the truth of who each of us is. And as I love myself, my true self, my higher self, and all of humanity are lifted up together, there is this greater and fuller expression of life. And so, what is created from this consciousness of oneness and in love, of consciousness of the power and presence of the truth of all life, is magnificent. It is glorious. And so as I look out at the world, I see all the diversity of humanity and love it for that expression of the divine that it is. And I love myself as God's beloved, right here, right now as I am. And I am so grateful to know this, to live it, to accept it as the truth, and know that I have nothing that I need to change. Yes, there is an evolution of life to greater and greater things, but I am created perfectly as this seed that is unfolding through this life. And so I am so grateful to know this, to see it, to be empowered. And as I release these words to the law says, yes, yes, my beloved, yes. And life is fantastic. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And together we say, and so it is. So I'd like to invite Callie up for one more song.
So the next song is, again, I told you, by Tim Be Told. It's called Reach for the Light, but you need to stay awake because I'm going to ask you to help me at the end. I'm going to teach you I am a teacher, so I would really, when I cue you at the end, I'd like you to do this. Hope is alive. Hope is alive. Can we practice that once? One. Hope is alive. Hope is alive. Hope is alive. Hope is alive. Good job. You guys sound so good. I can't wait for your part at the end of the song. Here we go. You cry yourself to sleep while you bury your emotions alive, and dug yourself too deep while a part of you is starting to die. You called out from under the fallout, but none of the soldiers could hear a sound. Thinking maybe someone will save me, but all of the lifeboats kept letting you drown. So you try to save yourself, but they rescued somebody else. Hold tight, it'll be all right. Reach for the light at the edge of the dark. Their words won't break your bones, but they'll drive your spirit into the ground. They took their sticks and stones, torched and tearing everything down. No one turned up, so you were burned up, stuck in the fire you couldn't put out. Screaming, save me, send down some rain, please, hoping the heavens would hear your shout. So you try to save your own self, but they rescued somebody else. Hold tight, it'll be all right. Reach for the light at the edge of the dark. Hold tight, it'll be all right. Reach for the light at the edge of the dark. Be not afraid, be not afraid. Not yet. Hope is alive, hope is alive. Hope is alive. Hold tight, it'll be all right. Reach for the light. Hold tight, it'll be all right. Reach for the light. Hope is alive. Hope is alive. Hope is alive. Hope is alive. 3 more. Very good.
Thank you, Kelly. Hope is alive. All right. Well, now is our prosperity time. And at CSL Tahoe-Truckee, we know that God is our infinite source for our center and for each of us as individuals. So if you were inspired by today's gathering, please consider sharing your abundance with our spiritual community. Donations of your time, talent, and treasure to our center support our vision of embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. And we're extremely grateful when you show your gratitude to the center and that it's making a difference in your life. There's lots of ways to give that you can see on the screen, and however you choose to donate, hold your gift or your intention of your gift over your heart and repeat our prosperity affirmation with me. In everything I give thanks. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. All right.
Can we do I am so blessed because I was for the offertory deal?
Well, we can do that one since Kelly's here. We'll sing I am so blessed. I think we know that one.
We know that one. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And so we give gratitude for all of these wonderful gifts that have been so generously given, knowing that it all is from our divine source that is infinite, full to overflowing, and supporting our center and this ministry here to support our members, our community, and as it ripples out into the world. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is. Okay. Well, we have this morning, we're going to do, I want to recognize people that have taken our certified CSO classes. And classes are where we put the science of mind principles into action, and the practices as well. And Sunday mornings you might hear some great ideas, and that they have the potential to expand your understanding of the infinite universe and how it works, the spiritual principles, the science, philosophy, all those things that are in there. But if we're going to take a deeper dive and actually transform our lives, it really helps to be in class and to think it through, and one thing I really like about CSL classes is that there's not just one way to think. People will walk into the class with, 8 or 10 different ways of thinking about it. They've read it, and they'll walk out with new 8 or 10 different ways when they leave. But it's about that personal experience and understanding of the spiritual principles and practices. We say, change your thinking, change your life. So how many of you have experienced that in a Science of Mind class, right? I mean, that's what they're about, right? So overall, we have a slide here of the certified classes that are in Science of Mind, and there's a large variety, and they've been updating the curriculum in recent years. So now there's a lot of experiential learning aimed at adult learners and the way adult learners learn. So it's the visual and the kinesthetic and the oral learners. It's all covered, and so laying this out on the if you're going to be a professional, if you're interested in becoming a practitioner, people will choose a certain number from each of the columns. But if you're just wanting to enhance your own life, you can also do that as well. So the first column is foundations. This is the very basics of how science of mind and new thought metaphysics work. Second column is the philosophy of Ernest Holmes. The third column is the history and philosophy of new thought, how that ancient wisdom shows up in modern new thought teachings, like Science of Mind or Unity, wherever. And then the last two columns are the electives that take a deeper dive. So we've had classes from both of these. So the fourth column is consciousness, and the fifth column is the electives, kind of the flair factive. So we've had coming up, we've got a class in the consciousness from the mystical path, spiritual economics we've had, and then in the electives, we've got Journey of the Soul, in the Infinite You is the Universe class, which will be starting in October 10th. Right? So, but today we want to recognize the people that have taken the classes, and so if you're interested in some of those classes, you can ask me about it later. But the classes now that I'm going to give out these certificates. So I was amazed when I pulled these out. They go back to 2021 because there's this thing called COVID that's been going on, and so some of these classes were almost entirely online, or they were hybrid, or they were masks, or what have you. So anyway, so we're going to be going back and getting all caught up and ready for the next classes. But so what I'd like to do is when I call your name, I'd like to have you come up front, and I'll give you your certificate. And okay, the first class is mental equivalence, which was taught by practitioner Donna Axton, and she's over at St. Patrick's playing the piano this morning. But mental equivalence. And so this was in July of 2021. And the students who completed this class were Carol Delbon, who's online, one of our practitioners. And then we have Sharon Nelson, who is attended online from Pasadena, the whole class. Shirley Nelson, her sister-in-law, is here today with us. And then Nancy O'Neill, who is camping this weekend, I think. All right. Okay. Penny Scholler completed this class. Congratulations. Thank you. Patricia Smelser. Yeah. All right. All right. Okay. So now we move to the next class. And this was Spiritual Economics, which was taught by Brenda Heldorn. And a great class. And yeah, I think everyone, that's one of our favorite classes here. This was in November of 2021. And so we have Maureen Brandman, completed the class. Michael Brandman. Right. Congratulations. Teresa Lyons, who is Brenda's sister.
Well, thank you.
Nancy O'Neill, who is camping still. And then Penny Scholler. Thank you. Thank you. All right, now we move on to Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. This is a class that I taught in April of 2022, and this is a foundational class. So it's, this is a good class to take as a prerequisite to some of the other classes. So you'll know how to do treatment and things like that. So Savannah App was in that class. Michael Brandman, again, thank you. Kiki Campbell was in that class. Sharon Nelson again, online. Penny Scholler. And Jim Eaglesmith was in that class. And is he online? No. Okay, sometimes. Sometimes he performs at the Reno Buddhist Center on Sunday mornings. So, okay, and then the last class is the one that we just completed in May, and so I'd like to welcome up Adam Blankenship. Congratulations. Michael Brandman again. Carol Delbon, again online. Brenda Heldorn. All right. Deborah Hyde. Is she online today? Karen? No. Okay. All right. Shirley Nelson. All right. Nancy O'Neill. Let's pick a great weekend to camp. Penny Scholler. Okay. So that's all of the classes. So, anyway, so I'd like to congratulate you all, and we'll get a group picture here. We can get everybody in. Okay. That's all? Thank you, Shirley. All right. So, okay. Thank you all. Okay.
I can take those, we'll give them to Sharon too. I'll send them to Sharon.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you. Are you going to see her soon?
I just saw her, but I'll mail them down.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, I want to thank anyone who's visiting us for the first time online or before. They want to welcome you here today. And you make sure you sign up for the emails for our newsletter information, things that are happening on at our center. Our Zoom hosting, thank you, Karen Heine. Yes, and practitioner, Michael Brandman this morning. And he did the meditation before the service at, it was supposed to be at 9:25, but it was, yes, we're being creative this morning. Our musician, Callie Hansen. Thank you very much. Hospitality is Patricia Smelser. Thank you, Patricia. And I also want to thank Penny Scholler. She came in and set up this table with these all these wonderful photographs of Vera Dagling, who is one of our members who passed away about 10 days ago now. Right? Is that about right? Is that when it was? And so we'll be having a memorial service sometime in the future. But now, and there's a copy also of the obituary that is in the Sierra Sun this week, and but you can get a copy of it here if you'd like to take one. And if we run out, we can make some more. All right. So now in our announcements, right after the gathering today, we have those wonderful refreshments that Patricia had brought in, and you can have time to spend with the family. If you're online, we'll open it up so you can chat with everyone else on Zoom. Now next Sunday, we have a special guest. Reverend Dr. Lloyd Tupper will be here, and he's speaking on It's All in the Daily Practice. And the practitioner will be Carol Dalbon. The musician is Tuck Wilson. Now, Dr. Lloyd's talk is wrapping up the weekend for the practitioners and the ministers. It's going to be at Sue Ruta's house that weekend, starting on Friday evening. And so, but everyone is welcome here on Sunday, so you get to hear Dr. Lloyd. And there's a no-host brunch afterwards over at Garwood's. So plan ahead to join us for that. All right. And hopefully the how many practitioners have signed up for the? I know Nancy has. Yeah, because they want you to sign up in advance online, if you can, so they can plan ahead. All right. Now online you can find information about our spiritual center on our website and all of our activities. And there are also recordings of our Sunday gathering, the talks and the meditations as well, so you can listen to it again. Or if you're missed it because you're camping like Nancy, you can listen after the fact. The weekly e-bikes group this week on Tuesday, the 12th, at 9 o'clock, they're meeting to ride from Boca to Stampede, and it'll be a picnic lunch at the picnic tables on the Little Truckee River. Perhaps maybe at the Boynton Mill, and parking starts at Boca. So it's a great morning. Get your e-bikes out and join them. And if check with Sue Pipel. She's always, if there's any last-minute changes, she will let you know. Now we also have a special thing that's starting this week. Our office administrator, Charlotte Peters, she's a certified yoga teacher, but she's in an advanced therapeutic yoga training program, and so she's putting on a free class, 9-week class. You don't have to go every week, but it starts on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 over at the Wellness Center from 5 to 6, and so she's going to be taking a deep dive into yoga and teach the different aspects of yoga, such as breathing practices, movement, meditation, how to set an intention, alignment, de-relaxation, and much more, because yoga is aligning the body and the mind. It's a very spiritual practice. So it's classes for all levels of experience and physical capabilities. It's a therapeutic yoga class. So if you need to sit while you do yoga, that's okay. You need to hold onto a chair, or you want to go full throttle. Any of those range of things is fine. The Red Tent also will be meeting this week on Wednesday night, also at the Wellness Center. September 30th from 6:30 to 8:30. This meeting for women has sacred ritual and a potluck and a good time together. And that's also free. And then 2 Saturdays from now is the Adopt a Highway. We moved it a week because of Dr. Lloyd's workshop. So it's going to be on the 23rd of the fourth Sunday, and you can join at the Commonwealth Drive when we clean up the first 2 miles of Highway 267 coming up from Kings Beach. Okay, now, September 24th, we're going, after the Sunday gathering, that's 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a special meeting to consider options for our building. As you probably know, our second floor tenant is not renewing his lease when it ends the end of the year. And so the board is pursuing options to find a new commercial tenant, convert the second and possibly third floors into multifamily housing and generate income for the center, or to sell the building. We've got to figure out, what it's going to cost and what we want to do. We've engaged a realtor to help us market the property. And some of these options will take an upfront investment. You know, do we have enough to do that? What's going to be the best for the center in the long run? And so we're doing a lot of prayer about it. And there'll in the newsletter this week, there'll be a prayer for divine guidance and for our center that you'll see that we can all read together on a daily basis to allow that whatever that divine intention is to come through, so we can see it and act on it. And we know that God, Spirit, has a perfect idea for us, and that's what we're tying into, linking into. So, so please come and share your thoughts. And the members, if we do decide to sell the property, or then we do need to have a vote of the members to approve that. So the members will be voting. Okay. Now, October 10th is the Infinite You as the Universe class that's starting on Tuesdays. It's a 6-week class. From 6 to 9, I'll be teaching the class, $195. And it'll be over by Thanksgiving. So that'll be good. And it gives you a chance to bring into form an expanded and empowered life. You know, we have these ideas, but how do we make this real? And this is a wonderful book that really is inspiring to talk about oneness and understand what it means and how you can realize that you are interconnected with all of life and there's no separation. It just transforms your life. Certainly did mine. You know, this is my first and wonderful introduction to Science of Mind. If you need a scholarship or a payment plan, those are also available. And there's a sign-up sheet out here, and we'll have the book should be arriving as well, and then the workbook, student workbook, is also included in the registration fee. But the book you can get from Amazon or buy it here at the center. Okay, so we have our ongoing drop-in classes on Zoom, and so these are free classes, or a love offering basis. And so on Thursday we have Tai Chi at 3:30 with Chris Worcester. Then at 4:30 is the energization and meditation led by Mary McEnany and the Ananda style. And then finally on Friday, the Course of Love at 6:30 is a class that's an ongoing class on that book. And I think Brenda's got a Course of Miracles class too. It's in-person class in Carson City. So if you and I know some people, Carson City's closer than Carnelian Bay, so we're a widely spread out community. So, but anyway, there's lots of options. So talk to Brenda if you want to be in that class. Okay, we want to. It's time to welcome our children and bless them. So if you would read along with me. We see you, we hear you, we love you. You are a gift from God, and so it is. All right. And so last but certainly not least is all of our practitioners. And they are really the heart of our center. And so if you would like prayer after the service, they'd be glad to meet with you. They'll make our day. Michael Brandman was the practitioner of the day. Brenda Heldorn is here. I'm a practitioner as well. Online we have Carol Heldorn. And did I say that? Carol Dalbon. Excuse me, Carol. Carol is she's a really wonderful practitioner, so she deserves to have her name said properly. But anyway, but please, I think I need prayer for my speaking. Okay. Anyway, we have our join us in our closing song, and
Let there be peace on earth.
okay, we're going to go back to the one of our favorites, and
That's my favorite. I had to
and then we'll have our affirmation afterwards. We would
Are
all
you
stand.
going in a circle or
We could go.
Okay.